Welcome to UNCAGED, the Tiger Schulmann's podcast. I am Rick Ruffman, co-owner of Tiger, supplier of all things Tiger Schulmann's. With me as always, she is a Tiger Schulmann's black belt, she is an ex-professional soccer player, and she is the head of the social media department at Tiger Schulmann's, Danielle Schulmann. Joining us today, he is an ex-UFC fighter with a combined record of 8 wins and 3 losses. He then found himself in the Where Are They Now file. I'll tell you where he is now. He is one of the most successful martial arts school owners in the entire country. Oh, and by the way, he's got a submission move named after him. He is the pretty boy, Nick Pace. What's up, Nick?
What's going on, man?
How was that intro?
That was a damn good intro. You nailed it.
You know Danielle, of course.
I do know Danielle.
Okay, let's go back 10 years. Sorry, let's go back 25 years to when you're 10 years old and tell us how this whole MMA journey started for you.
So it pretty much started from me being a madman. I was a maniac, too much energy, and I was driving my parents crazy to start. And then I would always watch like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And one of my friends did Tiger, and I saw him with his uniform with the nunchucks, and I'm like, all right, I gotta try that. So me and my dad, we went and we took a trial class. After I took my first class, it was just like, I knew that this was for me. Now, I'm not into any sports. As of recent, I got into hockey or whatever, but only into martial arts my whole life. Been doing this 25 years, like you said, and so really, because of my, hyperactive tendencies and just liking the Ninja Turtles, that's pretty much what got me into it.
So I was a Ninja Turtle fan too.
You were?
So was I.
Nice. Okay, all right. Who was your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that, but anyway.
I'll tell you mine, because I want to know hers too.
Okay, let me tell you who I think yours is.
Tell me.
Michelangelo.
Nope. I knew you were going to say that. Everyone always says that.
Well, because he was like the hyper,
Yeah.
kind of crazy guy, and that's okay.
I guess
Mine was
now-
Leonardo.
Yours was Leo. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
He was like the
stoic,
leader.
chilling leader. Yeah. Mine has always been Raphael. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, as a
I was going to say Raph.
yeah, moody all the time. No, I thought was like one of the toughest ones. So I don't know. I just like Raph. What about you?
I think I like Donatello just because the name Donatello.
Donatello's a good name.
Well, you know what they're named after?
They're named after famous. No, I don't.
Like artists, Renaissance artists.
Yeah, that's
Michelangelo. You're Italian. You should know that.
Yeah, I'm Italian.
And what was their favorite food?
They favorite pizza.
Okay, I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to tell you a pizza, and you're going to tell me which turtle that was their favorite pizza.
All right.
Okay?
Deal.
You think you can do that?
I probably can.
All right. If you don't get 2 out of 4 right, we're ending the podcast.
Deal. I gotta go home.
Okay. Ready? I'll do this quick. Chicken, mushroom, green pepper, and tomatoes.
Raphael. Wrong.
No, I can't tell you because then you might guess them again.
All right.
Onion, black olive, green pepper, and mushrooms.
Donatello.
No.
Damn.
Pepperoni, ham, pineapple, jalapeno.
Michelangelo.
Yes.
Yahtzee. And the last one.
Last one is quick. Pepperoni and Italian sausage.
Raph.
You did that by process of elimination.
I didn't even know who got what. I thought I was gonna get
That
double
was right.
negative.
The last 2 were right.
The last 2 are right. So
Last
I'm
two,
still
that's
here.
You're still
We're
here.
still
We're
doing the
gonna continue.
podcast. We can continue.
Okay, so you go to Tiger Schulmann's, you're 10 years old, and how are you right off the bat? Did you catch on quick?
Dude, all right, so my first class, I took it with Sensei Sukang, I think. I don't even know where he is these days, but I took my first class with my dad. We took the class at the same time, and I remember the kick shields that we used to have?
Yeah.
So I don't know why I remember this vividly. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, but I remember this so clearly. We were doing front kicks, and my dad, he got it pretty good, and then it was my turn. I remember I just knew how to do it. Not perfectly, not with like perfect ball of the foot, but like I just knew how to throw the kick, and it was like so natural. And at that point, I've tried like I tried soccer, I tried baseball. Actually, right before my first class, my trial class, I remember this is how bad I was at sports, really, baseball. I remember I had a black eye because I was playing third base. It was a pop fly, and I said, I got it. And then the ball just blasted me in the eye. So I knew from then on, maybe baseball ain't my thing. Martial arts probably is, and then it's been history ever since then.
I would think normally someone as natural at jiu-jitsu and fighting as you would be a good all-around athlete, but I guess you just...
No, I mean, I could hit a ball, I could throw it and catch it, but maybe if I put it all together, it's not as good.
You were like Beethoven, he could just look at the piano and he could play it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so you're a kid, Tiger Schulmann's. How's things for you at school, at home? What's going on?
So when I first started, I mean, everything just like was the puzzle pieces just kind of fit. And by the time I was like 13 years old, I was going for my black belt. And when I went for my black belt, you know, my sensei and everyone is telling me like, look, nobody really, like half the people pass and the other half, they don't pass on the first time. If you don't get it, it's okay. And I'm like, I'm passing, definitely going to pass. So passed my black belt test, and you know, then the same thing for the second degree and the third degree. But like, if we back up a little bit, when I was first starting out, I remember I was there like every day. You know, it was different. It was like we had different weeks of training. So it's like 1 week is sparring week. The next week is, you know, forms week. The next week is wood breaking week. So I really loved to go in and train. I would literally be in school, like looking up at the clock, like, all right, once I get out of here, I got to go home as fast as I can, do my homework as fast as I can, and just go to the school. My class is until 6 o'clock, but I just want to be there early just to like sit and watch. Like I was just like enthralled. I just wanted to be there all the time.
Every day you took class?
Every day. True story. The first time I took the class, that same trial class, I came home and we're walking back to my car, my dad's car, right? We're walking hand in hand. He's like, so like, what'd you think of it? You liked it? Yeah. I'm like, Dad, I want to be a sensei when I get older. He's like, okay, yeah, okay, son, yeah, that's cool, nice, you want to be a sensei. And it's crazy, you know, how it kind of manifested after that. But I knew that like this is like my calling. It didn't feel like it in the moment, looking back, and I haven't even really thought about this since then, really. But it's pretty amazing. I'm very lucky, very, very blessed to be where I am right now.
So you knew right away.
I knew right away. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to be anything at all because I wasn't good in school. I wasn't. You know, I was the kid that was trying to make people laugh all the time. I was the kid that was getting in trouble. Like, me and the principal, we were on a first name basis type stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like, I was a kid in the lunchroom that I had, you know, the snack pack, chocolate snack pack? Yeah, man, with the plastic spoon. I went like this with chocolate pudding. I went boom, and it splattered on the damn ceiling. And I tried playing it off like I was just eating it, and it snapped off of my tooth, and it flung upstairs. So I was doing all that type of stuff.
You know, I feel like it's almost as big of a commitment for the parent as it is for the kid. For a kid to go
100%.
as far as you.
Yeah.
Who was it? Was it your father that would take you every day? And
yeah, it was, to be honest, I don't remember one bringing me more than the other. I think they just knew, like, okay, you know, I told them, my mom is saying to my father, like, I told him to do this in school, I told him to do that, like, don't be a follower, don't do this. And then, like, this guy, sensei, is telling him to do stuff, and he's listening to him. So they just knew, all right, let me bring him there. He loves this. He's staying out of trouble. He's not as much of a madman. I would climb things, dude. Climb, and then jump off and just hit people with plastic swords for no reason. Like, we're at a wedding. What are you doing, you know?
I used to have to talk to my son's sensei to talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, like, I expect you to do good in school. Like, did your parents do that?
Yeah, they did. But when I was like, I don't know, like 13, 14 years old, I started to realize, like, I'm really good at this, like, better than most at my age at the time. And then I started to really take it serious, and I started to take everything that training, was surrounded by it, like doing well in school, listening to your parents, having discipline, like don't give up. Like I played basketball when I was in the 8th grade because I thought it was cool and was gonna get the girls, right? So I played basketball and I'm like, I'm gonna have discipline and I'm gonna practice every day. I'm gonna practice my jump shot. Like it helped me in other places, but it pretty much just was everything around training and martial arts and Tiger Schulmann's is like what I was all about.
So you got your black belt at 13. You're in 8th grade?
I think so, yeah.
You're in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Then you go into high school.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
So throughout my whole training career, my dad would tell me, he's like, look, don't tell anybody that you train. If you tell somebody that you train, they're going to want to test you. They're going to want to see, like, all right, what do you know? What does this kid know? Oh, you do karate? You do karate? Oh, let me see. Whoa, they do that stuff. So I didn't really tell anybody. I kept it as quiet as I could. I went to Catholic school my whole life up until freshman year of high school. So I went to St. Patrick's from kindergarten to 8th, and then I went to St. Peter's, shout out St. Peter's High School. And it's a very small, in Staten, Italy, a very small high school. I think the smallest all boys high school on the island. And then my parents got separated, they got divorced. And that hit me harder than I even realized at the time. And I went from that to then going into the biggest high school on Staten Island, Tottenville, and all bets are off. And so at that point, I hit like that weird age, right? Like teenagers, sometimes it's hard to like understand where they're coming from, right? Or understand like the emotional, like the mood swings and
it's
stuff.
Hard enough without your parents getting divorced.
Absolutely. So that just added it on. And, people ask me like, is it affecting you? Are you okay? Whether school counselors or like, I went to even go to talk to somebody at one point, and I was just like, no, it doesn't bother me. It's okay. I still see my mom. I still see my dad. It's okay. But, I was not good in school. I hit a point where I was bad. I was like not like a good kid like I am now.
And did you graduate?
I didn't graduate. So it's not something that I'm proud of, although I am proud of what all of those events kind of led me to. So like we said, I went to Tottenville, the biggest high school. I was cutting school, like every day, cutting school bad. And then I was like at my junior year of high school, and when I got to junior year, I dropped out. So I dropped out. I didn't do my junior year, I didn't do my senior year of high school. Okay,
how does that work? Your parents know you're getting in trouble, obviously.
Well, I was doing it's kind of embarrassing, but it's okay because that's my story. That's what, like I said, brought me here. So I was doing really bad stuff. Like I would take my parents' car out at night, and I would go for like a joyride, like bad. And then
what are you, 15?
Dude, 15, what am I doing, right? Now everyone knows, now the whole world knows, but...
That's okay.
Anyway, I would do stuff like that, and like I said, we'll cut school. And it got to the point that even if I did summer school, I would have to do summer school, I would have to do night school, and I would have to be left back in order for me to make up the credits to finish high school within like whatever the next couple of years. And I'm like, all right, I never went to summer school my whole life because of grades. I never went to, obviously night school either. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. And my parents were like, just go. They tried sending me to night school. I went to night school for a little bit, although they thought my mom would drop me off. Now she's a single parent. Drop me off. All right, okay, I'm going to pick you up in an hour and a half. Okay, Mom, bye. She left. You know where I went? Newdorp High School is here. Do you know what is across the street from Newdorp High School? Newdorp Tiger Schulmann's right there. Now, I didn't go across the street to the Tiger Schulmann because I wasn't training, but I went in the back where I know that they threw the garbage out. I would go and I would cut night school. So this is like the revolving door of just messing up one after the other. So my parents they came up to me and they were like, what are you doing? I'm like, look, I just want to drop out. I know that I'm going to be a sensei one day. I know it. I know this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And my parents didn't have money, like, especially when they split up, it was hard, So, like, all right, yeah. How are you gonna get to school? What money? Where are you going? I'm like, I don't know.
But at the time, you weren't even training.
At the time, I wasn't even training. And actually, coincidentally, right after that happened, my sensei saw my father in Wallbaum's, which is like it's like a shop, right? Mm-hmm. He saw him in the aisles, and he's like, where's Nick? So he wound up bringing me back the next week after I dropped out of high school. Said, all right, we got to get him on track. So I go back, I start training. Now I'm like, all right, this is supposed to happen. Like, I know this is where I'm supposed to be, because if I'm not, I don't know what else I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it kind of scared me, like, very much so. Like, I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have a college degree. Am I an idiot? Am I dumb? Right? What am I doing? All right, I'm following my dreams. Am I like the guitarist that's like, gonna grow up one day trying to follow his dream, never makes it? Or am I gonna be, a guy that is like in Lincoln Park? It's gonna go one way or the other. So I went back to training, and kind of right from there, just kind of like skyrocketed.
So when did you start competing at the Tiger Schulmann's tournaments? The Challenger Champion.
I started competing at the COC when I was a blue belt. Blue belt.
So you'd been competing the entire time?
Every single COC, didn't miss. I missed a year and a half or so, I think, maybe a year, somewhere around that range.
When you were
right,
not going
when
to
the high school
school
stuff was going on, right, when I wasn't going to school. So that was the only time that I ever missed it. I did not miss. It was like, I'm doing the tournament. Why? Because I won every time. I got first place every time.
Every single time?
Every single time. Now, when I came back after my hiatus, I knew, like you guys know, Jimmy Rivera, right, and Lewis, and like all these guys, they were in my division. Now, I would fight Jimmy. Back in the day, Jimmy used to be what we like to call in Staten Island, easy comp. All right, easy competitions. Go in there and smoke them. Look on your bracket. They used to have it written out, the names of who you're going against. Now, I'm not talking smack.
No.
It was, because do you remember, he wasn't good. And I would go into the tournaments and I would beat him. But then I came back from that year and a half layoff, and I went into the tournament right after that, maybe a couple of months after I came back. All right, COC. All right, I got Jimmy first. I had Jimmy, and I didn't realize that this kid has been training the whole time. Actually, when I first walked into the school, there's an old promotion that they did that says like most eligible bachelor like under 17. And I'm like, what is Jimmy doing on the phone? I can't believe I missed his year and a half. Like, I would have been on that and with my shirt off, like, I have better cubes than he does. So I was a little bit cocky when I was a kid, and I went to the tournament and Jimmy wound up beating me. So I'm like, holy crap. Who are you, and what have you done with Jimmy Rivera? So that kind of like ignited it. But I just thought that was a cool story. I actually talk to my students about that. I tell them all the time. I'm like, Jimmy as being like one of the best fighters, in the organization. Kid is amazing. He used to suck. He used to not be good. Not a lot.
Me and Jimmy trained together in Ramsey, and he lived at the school. He was there every day, like every class.
Crazy.
So when you put in that much work.
That's 100%. That's a fact. Then I got back to the drawing board. I'm like, Sensei Delaney, my sensei, we sat down. He's like, okay, so we got to do grappling tournaments. We're going to go to this next, we used to do Grappler's Quest. Remember Grappler's Quest? And then you remember boycotting Grappler's Quest?
I was there the day, I competed the day we decided we're done with them.
Yes. I was in the middle of a match. Mike Murray's in the middle of a match. And then your dad said,
let's go.
Let's go. You're leaving. Let's go. Come on. Get up. I'm like, I have him in guard. Okay. And we get up and we walk out.
Because they were like giving bad calls to a bunch of our
they didn't like
students.
Our name. They didn't like Tiger. They didn't like the fact that we were a karate school at the time and entering in jiu-jitsu tournaments. Like, who are you guys? No. So, I mean, we're cool now with, we do Naga, obviously, but yeah, that's crazy. So don't worry, I got my revenge when it came to Jimmy. He said, all right, look, we got to do Naga. And I went to Naga tournament, or I'm sorry, the Grappler's Quest. We went to Grappler's Quest. I remember it was me, Sensei Delaney, and then it was somebody, I think it was actually Giuliano. And it was the three of us on the sidelines, and I'm like getting warmed up, and we were over here. But then on this side, it was Tiger, it was Shion Schulmann. It was like 20 people, like for Jimmy, supporting Jimmy, and I'm like, I got it. I got like the blood in my eyes. I'm like, you're not winning right now. I don't know how I'm gonna do it because now Jimmy wrestles. I didn't wrestle, whatever. Delaney was like, it's like when he shoots, he wrestles, go guillotine. So he shot in the first like 20 seconds. He shot in, and I wound up getting a guillotine on him. So that's where the Pace Rivera like friendly competition rivalry started. That we kind of made each other better. But to answer your question, from then on, I wound up doing the COC, and I didn't win first place every time. The competition went up. You know, I would be usually in the top three, first, second, or third, and you know, it was really a huge part of me being able to compete at a high level because doing a tournament gave me the experience that I need, fighting somebody that I'm not used to fighting. You know, that those like butterflies you get in your stomach. The more I tried to push the nerves away, the more they would come back on me. So I had to learn to deal with that. I needed to know how to train. I needed to know how to eat right. So that really gave me the structure and a good foundation for me to become like an amateur and then professional martial artist.
And not only that, like, you learn a lot more when you lose sometimes than you do when you win. If you took that hiatus
Facts.
and you came back and you won again, now what incentive do you have to go back and work hard? It's like, I'm still the best.
I don't need to work on anything. You guys got to work hard, but I'm good.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? One little circumstance. If you lose that fight, you may never have gone where you went.
That's right. My father didn't see my sensei in Wallbounds that day. We may not be here. There's somebody else that we'll talk about in a little bit that like that man changed my if he didn't do what he did for me at the time, changed my whole I wouldn't be where I am today either.
Okay, so let's go to the next.
Amateur fighting.
Yeah, so I was winning COCs, and then before the legal age, I think at the time was like 18, and so you know. I wasn't a bad kid anymore, but like I could do bad stuff sometimes. Like I forged that I was 18 and I wasn't really 18, so I fought in a combat at the Capitale, and wouldn't you know it, my first fight, I lost it, kickboxing, and that was good. So that lit another fire underneath me. Went back into my next 4 or 5 like amateur kickboxing fights at combat at the Capitale, and I wound up winning them. And then I started getting into MMA, new breed fighters, and that really gave me a taste for that like real MMA. And I'm like, okay, I could do this. Like I was beating the guys at the amateur level and just like quickly, you know, me and Jimmy and Lewis, I think Jose Villon, like all of us, like we would go in there, we would dominate, we would crush. So that's where that started, just from COC to the combat at Capitale.
Do you think that competing in the COC gave you guys an advantage in, like, talk about that a little bit? I
think the biggest thing with the COC is if you're doing it consistently, the nerves I think are the biggest thing. If we ask anybody that's doing a COC, any kid, any parent, even at any one of the Tiger schools, you ask them that they're doing the COC. The first, within the first sentence or so, they're probably going to say, he's nervous, or I'm scared, or I'm nervous for him. And, doing a tournament, doing this Challenge of Champions, it helps you cope with those nerves. Because you don't get rid of them, right? But, it helps you deal with those nerves to a point that it'll allow you to go above and beyond to where you ever thought that you can go, whether it be in a Muay Thai fight or MMA, and so on.
What was your first professional fight?
My first pro fight? My first MMA pro fight was, I don't know if I remember. Was it Sean Shorty Rock Santella? I don't remember.
Where was the flying knee?
Dude, oh yeah, dude, the flying knee was in Bellator, bruh.
I think we have a video of that. Look at that.
Oh my lord. Right here, boom, here it comes. Right after this.
I wanted to see what you did. There you go. I wanted to see that one.
Wait,
No.
can we see that again?
That's what I wanted to see.
Was
the
I
end.
thinking?
Wait, go back. Gotta play that again.
I don't know what's more impressive, the knee or the dance at the end.
Listen, I knew immediately I want to do something right now, and that was what came out of me. What?
You didn't even break a sweat in this fight.
Boom, and a hula. What?
There it is.
Hips. With not even like, put your hand up, dude. What are you doing?
Did you practice that dance
I didn't
first?
practice a damn thing. I guess that is what came out of me naturally. That's the worst part about it.
So that's Bellator.
So after my second pro fight, I fought in Bellator, and then I got scouted for the WEC. So World Extreme Cage Fighting was the sister. It was the sister organization of the UFC.
Right.
So at the time, the UFC only had 155 and up, and then the WEC had all the lower weight classes. So the UFC didn't have bantamweight. They didn't have 135. So I fought for the WEC. I wound up fighting a guy known as Mighty Mouse, Demetrius Johnson. And, he wasn't the top dog at the time. He was just a regular dude. And like we talk about our trajectory, and I would sometimes think, I wouldn't change where I am right now for anything at all. Even if I would have been the UFC champ, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't go back because I love my life right now. I love where I am. But I would think, like, what if I would have won? Because in my head, I was supposed to be UFC world champ. I was supposed to be, like, I have this uncanny talent. Like, people don't have talent like me. Like, I'm supposed to be the best. And if I would have won that fight, maybe I would have been the best pound fighter and been a household name, So I would kind of like trip myself out about that. But,
So I almost feel like it was bad luck that so early on this kid went on to be a big star, right?
Huge. Yeah, it's like, it was bittersweet for me because, then I had, my own stuff going on, like good things. The ball was rolling, right? I was fighting now in the UFC. The UFC, they said, we want to fly you out. We're going to do it's called a Fighter Summit. You meet all the other fighters, and Dana White gives a speech, and he's talking to you. So I went into the UFC, I fought there, and my biggest problem was like my head. I remember I would call your dad, and I love that man, and I would call him, and I would be like, dude, I don't feel like I belong here, man. Like, I don't feel like I'm good enough. So like my confidence was super high, and then it would go down low and go up and down. I don't know why it would go like that. He called me a head case, and which I definitely was a head case. But he would tell me, he's like, and your dad don't lie either. He's like, Nick Pace, look, man, if you get your head right, man, nobody could beat you. I'm like, okay, but it was just crazy because I did get beat, Sean. I don't know. I guess I'm not the best. So I was in my own head. And, he was always able to give me that confidence again to go back out there and fight, But
we never mentioned who Danielle's dad is. You keep referring to her
no one
dad.
knows. Oh,
So-
dude.
It's okay.
Her dad is Tiger Schulmann. The best, that guy, man, every time I see him, I got to give him a good hug. I love that man. Him and his brother, Sean Schulmann. So.
Okay. You had a problem with making weight. Okay. How hard is it to, what weight were you fighting at that time?
Fight at 135.
And how much do you weigh a month and a half before the fight? About
like 150, 152.
Okay. How difficult is that? How mentally draining is that? What's that like?
Oh, man. When you don't do it right, when you do it the way that we used to do it, we used to go to Taco Bell, and we used to eat the Taco Bell, and then we used to purge the Taco Bell, and then we would buy, listen, dude, pickles? You know about pickles? Pickles, they got like no calories. They got sodium. So as long as you're a week, more than a week out from your fight, we go to 7-Eleven because we were living here at the headquarters. Go to 7-Eleven, get a jar of pickles, and eat the whole jar of pickles, not feel bad about it, and then just drink a lot of water, and we were good. So like we found ways to kind of skirt the rules, but I didn't do that good of a job skirting the rules because I wound up missing weight. The one time I wound up getting, I did that, I invented the pace choke, right? And I remember coming back and everyone was like, what was that? You had like a $30,000 burger before that? Because I was over by a couple of pounds and I would have gotten submission of the night. And submission of the night that night, you get a bonus of 30 grand. So, and it was December, and the holidays were coming up. I was sad on the plane ride home, so bad.
We have so many things. Okay, we just covered so much because I wanted to talk about the pace choke.
Yeah.
Too. So pickles. So you're eating pickles.
Dude, pickles.
I never knew that. Never
knew that, right?
No.
Crazy.
No.
I was in a sauna one time, again with Lewis, and we're in the sauna, and now this one I'm trying to cut weight bad. Like now, I've been in the sauna. We did a salt bath. So a salt bath is, we didn't even get Epsom salt. We got the iodized salt. You know the blue one with the girl with the umbrella? We got 6 of these iodized things of salt. You go into the bathtub. You put the bathtub as hot as you can get it. You pour all of them in there. I'm sitting there like this. So all this salt is sucking out all the water in your body. I'm emaciated. It's like, all right, Pace, how many more pounds you got? All right, you got another 1.5 pounds. Let's go, man. We're going to go to the sauna that's in the hotel where they're doing weigh-ins. We were in a different hotel. So we go there, we sit in the sauna. I'm sitting in the sauna like this. And this is usually where Lewis takes over this story, because at that point, he said I was like this. And I'm like, yo, dude, I just got to lay down for a second. And I went to lay down, and he's like, your eyes roll back. Like he's like, you look like you were like seizing up, like it was scary. He's like, I felt really scared for you. He's like, he had to drag me out of the sauna. And God. They were like, Pace, are you okay? Put water in my face. And that was the second time I missed weight.
That's Lewis Gao, now another UFC fighter, Tiger Schulmann fighter. See, we talked to Shane about this. I don't like that a guy has to weigh in the day before the fight, 135, then he fights at 150. Yeah. Anyway, I feel like they have to change that whole thing. I mean,
what could they do?
Well, in
wrestling, so unhealthy.
In wrestling, they have they do like a water, like your hydration test, I believe. And they take this like plastic pincer thing, I don't know, and they like do it over here. They see how much body fat you have, and then they test somehow how hydrated you are. And they're like, all right, look, you weigh this much, like you could only cut up to this much. You could only cut up to this weight. So like if you weighed 150 at the time, and hydration says on a safe level, you can only get down to 142, then that was the lowest you can go. So there's a couple of ways that they could probably structure it.
Right.
But I mean, for them, it's like, it's not broke, don't fix it.
Okay. I was thinking if they just weighed in right before you get on the mat, like how much weight cutting could he do then?
You can't do much. It's like you either sacrifice your energy or right. It's like that balance. Yeah.
You're in the UFC. You're living here.
Here.
I think it was in this room.
It was in this room.
Okay. And who are you living with? What was that like?
Oh man, it was wild. It was fun though. It was fun. Every night was a party. But when I say party, not like, we were going out and partying, but like every night was fun. I'm with my boys. It was me, Jimmy, Lewis, it was Lyman.
I think we have a picture of Nick with a couple of the guys.
Lyman, Uriah Hall, it was, yeah, boy, I'm thicker than a Snickers. Oh, that's Lewis right there. He's cutting weight. You could tell that. And that's Burt Watson in the middle.
Jimmy.
Man.
So you're living here.
So we're living here because Shion knew that our lazy asses probably were going to be missing classes because we overslept and given the excuse text. You know the excuse text? Like 10 minutes before class starts. Oh, Shion, I tripped on my dog, or I don't know, my grandma, this or that, right? He's like, look, I'm not giving you an opportunity. Come here. We had bunk beds, boom, 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 for like 8 people that could sleep in here.
You mean when you say living, you lived here. This was where you lived.
Lived. I was working at the Bay Ridge Tiger Schulmann at the time. I was a head instructor there at Joshu. And then I was fighting, I was training, and then I fought Demetrius Johnson. I was teaching classes. Now, one day after training, Tiger calls me over to the side and he says, listen, UFC, they called. They want you to fight. They want you to fight on this date against so-and-so. Okay, Ushian. He said, what I need you to do is I need you to call Bay Ridge, tell them that you're not working there anymore, you're not teaching. I said, I'm not? He goes, no. And don't worry about it. Look, you get paid from the UFC, you can live up here. I said, I'm not gonna live I'm not gonna live at home anymore, no? Okay. He said, go home, get your shit, come back, you're living here, you're doing your fight camp for 3 months. And we did that, and then I wound up staying up here, me and the boys wound up staying here for like 3 fight camps in a row, like 2-3 fight camps in a row. And it was great, it was fun. We would train in the morning, we would eat together, we would, all sleep at the same time, and that was an unbelievable experience too. That was a lot of fun.
You're all living together. Give me one PG-13 version story of something that sticks out in your mind. Just give the crowd an idea.
Oh my God.
Can't think of
It's like, I kind of half don't remember because my brain has been rattled so many times, so I can't remember too much. But what I do remember distinctly was so the older guys, right? Big bro, call him Nissim, Sensei Levy. He would come here with Lyman. Now at the time, Lyman wasn't living here. He didn't have fight camp. So I remember Nissim and Lyman, they came here one night just to hang, whatever. We're talking and stuff like that. And then they're like, look, we're going to sleep here and then we're going to train in the morning. So cool, all right. And then, I don't know who had, I think Jimmy had firecrackers. Yeah, firecrackers. Homeboy said, yo guys, come on, let's go scare the crap out of, it was Lyman, it was Nissim, and it was Uriah. Let's go scare him. So we have like an aluminum trash can that's outside these doors, right? So he's like, take the bag out, took the bag out, we're sneaking like we're in Call of Duty type stuff. Boom, we put the trash can down, they're sleeping right here, snoring loud as hell, stinking. And then we come in here, we light the thing, and the thing goes crazy, right? It's not like an M80, you know like the mats, the red ones, you light and they're loud as hell. Immediately after we light it, we run, but then somehow Nissim and Lyman are like on our tail right there. They tackle us and they just start beating us up right there, just attacking us, just all of us at the same time as we were all dying laughing too. So, I mean, that's one thing that we did. We used to watch. I was sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber to basically replicate altitude training.
Right.
So one of my big downfalls was my cardio because I would slack sometimes, right? Like a jerk, try to take the easiest possible route to success at that point, right? So I'm like young and dumb. So he's like, look, when you go to sleep, I got you this thing here, don't break it. Very expensive, you rented it, a hyperbaric chamber.
You had it here?
Yeah, girl, you sleep in it. You zip it up, and then you turn it on, and it blows, and it sucks out the air. And so you sleep in it, right? So you put your queen size blow up mattress in there. And Lewis sometimes be like, yo, man, come on, I want to get good cardio too. And he would be in the bed too. Now, I don't care to even say that to everyone, right? Because I love him. It's okay, right? I'm confident. But like, we would be in the hyperbaric chamber and watching Step Brothers. That's why every time that movie comes on now, I always think of it. So, it was like
That's
that
funny.
For like a couple of months. Like great times that I've forgotten until we even
really
brought
good
it up.
Team bonding.
Dude, team bonding. Yes.
Some serious team
As
bonding.
long as it ain't in a haunted house, I'm good.
You're fighting Will Campuzano in the UFC.
Yeah.
The first round?
So
What happened?
it was the first round, and actually I think that was the first. So like I said, the UFC didn't have bantamweight. They didn't have 135, they didn't have 145, so they were introducing it. to the world. And I was the official first bantamweight fight ever in the UFC. And in the first round of that fight, the fight was kind of even. It wasn't really very exciting, whatever, but like I was on my back, and then I don't know, I just threw it over, I threw it under, and I had it. And then I'm being interviewed by Joe Rogan shortly after, and I'm like, I can't even fathom what just happened. He's like, well, we gotta call it something. I'm like, I don't know, we could call it the pace joke. And that's where it was born.
I think we have that video.
Oh no.
Doing a good job of holding his posture down.
So here it is.
They didn't even know what was happening.
What did he get there? Nick Pace, the winner by submission. Wow. All that time I thought he was trying to sneak a triangle in, he was doing something else underneath. So he had that meat hook control. It looked like he was trying to get that left leg up and through for a triangle.
What the hell am I saying right there?
Look at it again.
Look at those abs.
I guess he was choking him with his forearm. I want to see that again. Fight replay brought to you by Tampa. Look at this. He grabs a hold. Check this out.
So what are you doing there?
So pause that. Pause that.
Look, he got it.
So what do you? So you're going for a triangle here?
No, I honestly, not. I don't even know what. I can't even tell you what was going through my mind because I don't. It was just like I was just like instinct. I don't know why I even did that. Honestly, I don't. I knew the triangle wasn't there. I went for that. I may have practiced this move like in passing, like. Or tried it out, like I did it in one of my classes, like with Sensei Delaney, like back in the day, and like it was something I did, like moves. You'd be like, hey, what about, think this will ever work? And try a move that you're like, it's outlandish, it ain't definitely not working. So like, I guess that's what happened, and it was just kind of like I was supposed to do, and it just kind of happened. So I don't know what was going through my mind.
So what is it? You have your
So the back of my Normally, when you're in a triangle, you have the person's head and you have their arm, and then you lock your legs, right? You have the head and arm, and then your leg is squeezing their carotid artery, and then their arm is choking the other, right? But in this case, he was under both, so his arms are here, his head is here, and the back of my knee is like the inside of my knee is on the back of your neck, and then I take my hand. And I get my elbow now is under your chin, under your neck, and then I've since then modified it and kind of fine-tuned it. But what I did was I went gable choke right here, and gable grip.
Like you're making meatballs.
Boom, meatball grip. Yeah, boy, meatball grip right here. And then I don't know if I don't think I even triangle my leg. I just did it with my one arm there, and then that. You kind of you got to keep your shoulder tight to the knee, and then you kind of like lift up. It gets super tight. Super tight.
Can we play what Joe Rogan said?
He says that.
Arm under the neck, and then he grabs a hold of the chin. Wow, that's interesting. So he's choking him with the forearm under the neck and pulling down on the foot. You know what? I don't think I've seen that before. We're going to have to talk to Eddie Bravo about
I heard
this.
him
What is that?
like gasping, like.
Look at that. He's got a gable grip on the shin, and he's choking with a forearm under the neck. That's very interesting, Nick. We're going to talk about this. Congratulations, Nick Pace, the winner by submission. Will Campazano.
Look at that guy.
With the official decision.
Yeah.
You remember that guy, Nick?
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Chris Cardoni has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 33 seconds of the
pissed.
third round. Declare the winner by
He was pissed.
to submission, Nick Pace.
Congratulations, Nick Pace. All right, I'm here with Nick Pace. Nick, you surprised me. I don't know what that technique was that you did. I don't think I've ever
See?
seen
Always
anybody
looking out.
choke anybody like that before. It looked like you were trying to set up a triangle, but let's take a look at it. Well, here's some ground up pound they're going to show us, but the final choke was very interesting. Is that something you do all the time?
You know what? I have to give it up to my training partner, Jameer Vera Lewis. Yeah, I know, my trainers. I just work a lot of grappling and submission.
This technique right here, you've got your leg over the back of his neck and your forearm underneath it, and you've got a gable grip, and you're choking with your forearm and your leg over his neck like that. Is that something you do all the time?
No, I don't.
You just make it up on the spot?
I guess so.
We're gonna have to call that something, man. What is that?
We call it the pace.
That's what you call it? Let's call it the pace. That's the pace. That was beautiful, man. We thought you were setting up a triangle, trying to get that left knee through, but that was beautiful.
I just have to say, thank you to UFC, my training.
I didn't know what the hell's going on at this point. What am I even? I'm mumbling a bunch of stuff. What am I saying? Yeah, everybody. He asked me a damn question. I didn't even hear what he said.
You dominated and you finished him off in the third. Excellent performance. Look forward to seeing you again. Nick Pace, ladies and gentlemen.
I said, give me a hug. That was fun.
The winner by Pace. Nick Pace.
The winner by pay. That's a really big deal, though. I don't think a lot of people know that this actually happened.
Yeah.
Can we play with Joe, what he said on his podcast about it?
Who was that? There was one choke that I saw only once in the UFC. It was a choke like almost similar to a Gogo Plata by a kid who was a Tiger Schulmann student. Nick something or another.
It was in the UFC?
Yes. He had some crazy choke, and he said that he invented it while it was going on. He's like, I invented it in the fight.
I have no idea what that is.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what I'm talking about,
Yes.
but I don't. I couldn't show you.
Yeah, I
Guys
remember.
showed me techniques
He has
all
no
the
idea.
damn time, and I'm like, I should have videotaped that because that gone.
Eddie, is
You don't
jiu-jitsu-
videotape that?
Yeah.
Is a gone.
Is jiu-jitsu growing, Eddie?
videotape new.
There it is, Nick Pace. Yeah,
Yes.
Nick Pace.
He did some crazy.
Let's see if you can find the submission, because it was some weird leg submission.
I don't remember. I couldn't show you.
I remember it had something to do with a shin across the neck.
Yep.
And
It was
it's
a leg submission?
I would say
it was
about
a
a
neck.
guess.
It was a neck. It was a choke. It was some weird choke that had to do with some weird like omoplata type setup, and he wound up in some position with his shin underneath this guy's choke. See, look at this. He grabs it like this. He throws the leg over the neck, and then he shoots under like this, and he grabs his ankle.
Yeah,
look at this.
That's gun show control. It's called gun show.
But he chokes him from here.
Yep. I got a guy, Ben Eddy, who does this.
Yeah. So
all the time.
He
all the time.
he came up with this on the fly in the UFC.
Damn.
And
I'm gonna use
now he
that.
calls it the Pace choke. I don't.
That guy's hair is great. Who
I do
told him
not
to do that?
believe.
That's
is
legit.
that Louis Gowden now?
No, that's
Yeah,
legit.
that's
Is
him.
that Gowden?
He always
That's
says
really
green.
legit. I got a
maybe,
guy.
Maybe not that
I
hair,
got a
though, you know?
guy whose style is based off
You
that
just said it
control.
looks nice,
Huh?
fuck.
It's
No,
called
but I'm being
gun show
sarcastic.
control. There's guys that spend a lot of time.
That's
See,
an atomic green.
Those guys, Tiger Schulmann, for a lot of people
Joker
don't know,
green, you
those
fuck.
guys were
Yeah,
a
it
giant
is.
karate chain in the East Coast.
You see him in New York all the time, like they
People
have schools.
they didn't think of him as legit, like necessarily, because they thought, well, most giant karate schools aren't legit.
Yeah.
However, they are legit. I mean, think Uriah Hall. This kid Nick Pace came from there.
Who was in your corner there? Who were your coaches at the time, and what were they like? What did they mean to you?
The only coaches that would ever be in my corner, we have Tiger Schulmann, so Danny Schulmann, we have Shion Schulmann, which is Ron Schulmann, which is Danny's brother, and then you got Ray Velez, and he's my boxing coach, or at the time he was everyone's boxing coach. So like through each fight, like I told you, he would say like, Nick Pace, like you're a head case, and he learned pretty much how to deal with head cases, I think, from me, or I like to believe that story. But he pulled me in his office so many times, whether it was just Tiger or it was Tiger and Shion Schulmann. They got me. They were able to help me kind of like look into the future, and at the same time realize what I'm doing wrong right now, and then how to kind of fix it. And I have a mom and a dad, and they're great parents. I love them. They did as much as they could for me. But you know how sometimes like you can't get through to your kid as well as or as good as somebody else can, like a coach or a sensei especially. They were like what I needed, whether it was for fighting or I think even more so just like in life. Like I was in such a bad down place, and like they would always know how to talk to me, know what to tell me. When I say know what to tell me, it's not like they would just tell me the things I needed to hear, right? Like a yes man or something like that, like one of the things that none of my coaches would do, right? So like Tiger would never just tell me what I wanted. He would never bullshit me. He would always be straight up and honest. We went to Vegas. We would go to Vegas.
They're right there.
Oh my God. You see what this guy used to do to me though? Yeah, I was just telling you guys about that. He would order food. We're in Vegas. Now, this is the first time I've ever been to Vegas. Yes, that's his hand on the back of my head. He's saying, here, Nick, smell it. See that? You can't eat nothing. I'm going to eat that. Lewis is going to enjoy it. I got Lewis here. I got Jimmy next to me. I got Schulmann. I got Tiger, and I got Ray, our boxing coach, right? Now we're sitting all in the cube. I'm in the middle. I'm like this. And they order me food. Every time they went out to dinner, they would order me food that I'm not going to eat. And they would put it in front of me. And they go, okay, smell that. How mad you feel right now, whether it's to me or not being able to eat, take that out on the guy you got to fight. He made me be able to kind of look, inward, and taught me how to, the way that you get like that gratification, that self-gratification, is by becoming selfless, by believing in yourself, doing what you love to do, stay disciplined, be a good person, help somebody else. Don't worry about you, worry about somebody else. I was always worried about money growing up. I was worried about money, and my parents gave me as much as they could, but I get to a certain age, 17 years old, it's like, all right, get a job, right? I had a job when I was 14, right? But like doing little things then at the school, but they were able to kind of help me. Something that Tiger said was like, when you look for the money, it's never there. He said, put your head down, do what you love to do, and do it well. And then everything else will fall into place. I believed him and kind of based my whole life off of that. I tell people that now. So there were so many different, anecdotal things that he would say that I use and I apply to my everyday life. Like one thing that I say to my school, which we'll talk about, but like one thing that I tell all my students, if you go to my school and you ask them, whether you think, if you just stop right there, they know what it is. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're always right. So like there's so many different things that this man would tell me that I would download, process, and then I would apply it. And I mean, it wasn't always as clear as it is for me now to be like, all right, yeah, this is the right path, this is what I got to do. But I trusted him. He took me in like, I felt like the man loved me like his son. And I think a certain part of him did, but he would give the advice selflessly so that he could make, when I felt bad, he felt bad. When I was nervous, he was more nervous. And not just him, Schulmann. And Schulmann and Tiger have two different personalities, as you know, but like Schulmann would give me more of a structured, regimented type of thing to do, whether it's like, all right, Pace, look, I need you to get, 6 ounces of grilled chicken, and then you're gonna do this. Look, don't worry about it. You're gonna eat this, and this is what you're gonna do so that you're on way for your fight. Whether it's from that to like teaching curriculum, I would ask a question, and then he would come back and he would tell me like super technical. But the both of them together, I mean, I didn't realize how lucky I was. I knew I was lucky at the time, but like I look back now and again, I know that I put in the hard work, but like I wouldn't be where I am without them. Like those guys, I owe my life to them. And, you think about now the three, you got Ray Velez, right? Ray, he's funny as hell, man. But he'll also shoot right from the hip. Some people don't like that. They don't like that. He's so straightforward. So for me, I had Tiger who would help me mentally, like my emotions and stuff like that. And then you had Schulmann who would be like telling me, exactly like technically, like regimented things that I need to do. The things, like I said before, like them being able to kind of take me under their wing, like they didn't have to do that. Like your dad didn't have to do that. He has, he has 2 beautiful daughters. He has a huge family. I mean, you guys, the Schulmann and the Ruffman family, I talk about all the time. I was talking about, I think I told you guys the other day, I mentioned it, but like, I'll tell my family, I will mention you guys and be like, dude, I see how like Danielle is with like their cousins and how they'll be with like Rick and their uncles. It doesn't matter, and like they're so close. Like that's what I want from my family. Like my family, they're dysfunctional, like all families are. Obviously, you guys aren't perfect. I'm sure you have your own stuff, right? You got the juice, you know. Like there's always some type of drama happening, right? But like, it's an incredible thing for me, always, you know, to be able to see you guys, how you're so close. Like it'll be like you'll be able to go and like just sit on you know Rick's lap or whatever, or like you guys are always together. The family you guys have is incredible, and that's like what I would strive for. I would tell my family, like, let's just like be more warm, like let's just be like that, you know. And they help shape me as a person, my personality, and everything pretty much that I am.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Tiger and Ron were like co-father figures that had a tremendous influence on you.
I call them Uncle Donnie and Uncle Ronnie when no one's around, right? I don't want to be disrespectful, but...
Okay. You're out of the UFC. Mm-hmm. You don't have a job.
I got no job.
You don't know what you're going to do.
I'm on unemployment.
And what happened then?
Dude, I'm on unemployment, and I'm like, shit, I don't care. I'm on unemployment. I don't got to do a damn thing. Like, I'm getting a check for, like, whatever it was, like $300 a week, something like that. Like, how am I living? Now, I used to live up here, right? I used to live up here, and now this is sad, right? But at the time, I was young, dumb, and didn't really care. But, so, it's me. I'm the oldest. You have my sister, Victoria, a couple years younger than me. Then you have my sister, Taylor, a couple of years younger than her. And then you got my brother, Ricky, who's 12, 13 years younger than I am. So when I moved out of the house to move up here to train, Ricky Pace, my boy, moved into my old room. Now I get cut from the UFC. You fast forward, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'm home. And he's in my room, like it's his room now. So there would be nights that I would come home and like my brother's sleeping in the bed and I would get home late. I'm like 21 at the time, whatever. And like I would go and I would like sleep in the bed next to him and I feel like crap, but then I wouldn't care because I was like I was just feeling bad for myself and not really caring. Until one day I hit up Sensei Levy. I hit up Nissim. I'm like, Nissim, can I come work at your school? Like, can I help out at your school one day, like just to make a few extra bucks? And he's like, what do you mean? You want to help out for one day? What do you mean? I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, how much would you pay me if I came and I taught like a seminar or did like a class there? He goes, what you gonna do? What's today? Friday? Okay, so it's Friday. It was Friday at like 7 o'clock. I was at a Sunoco station. I know exactly where I was at the time. This was probably the most pivotal point in my life. This would just happen. He goes, you're not, I forget, he said something like, Monday, come in, be in by 2:30. You're working at my school. Yeah, but I don't really want to. He cut me off. He's like, come in 2:30. You're going to work at my school. I'll see you then. Hangs up on me. Damn. I shot him a text. I texted him a long thing, like some BS excuse, like, yo, I don't really want to do that. He just left me on red. He didn't care. Monday comes, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna show up 2:30. Let me make some money. And I go in, and he's like, all right, look, you're gonna be the head instructor. I want you to be, teaching all the classes that you're gonna do. This is the schedule. So how much I'm gonna pay you. And if that didn't happen, if Nissim, I would not be the owner of Tiger Schulmann in Tottenville. I wouldn't be the person. I would either be, dead or in jail. Who knows where the hell I'd be? I don't know.
So that's another circumstance that happened to you where if it didn't happen, like beating Jimmy, you're not where you are right now.
Yeah. It's wild because I think of how, I look at that picture with Nissim, me and the kid Tyrone, and then Lyman and Nissim, and I see that and it brings back so many memories. And, there was some times where I would be working late, working whatever. Like, people work 6 days, right? That's like a normal job. You work 6 days, work like whatever the hours are, 9 to 5. Our hours are different, but like I would be there from 2:30 until like 11:30 at night, like 6 days a week. It's a Friday night. I don't care. Like, you're working, right? And you work hard, you play hard, but at the same time, make sure you work harder. Make sure that you're there. He taught me the work ethic. He taught me the discipline. He taught me like how to put your head down and grind. Like, I didn't know what the hell grinding was until I met him, and he kind of really taught me his style. And Bay Ridge has always been like one of the leaders in the organization as far as how good their students are, how organized they are, how they're managed, and so on and so forth. So I really got my base from Nissim, and he taught me, in a way, how to be a man, how to make your money, how to do this, how to do that. I remember that, he said, "Yeah, man, you going on a date tonight?" I said, yeah, I'm going to go on a date tonight. He goes, "Yeah, take my BMW." I took his BMW, and I'd be like, "Yeah, this is my Beamer. This is my car." And I would pull up and I had a drop top down, pulling up in it. Like, "Can you close that? You sure you don't want it?" "No, I mean, it's December, so like, you want to close it?" And it was like a cold day, so it wouldn't matter. I'd always have that thing open. And the guy he's another one who taught me how to be so selfless. That kid would give his arm to somebody in need. So, I mean, just everything was very influential to me. And again, at the time, I didn't realize like how much of this am I really absorbing. At the time, I'm thinking, how much of like what Shion is saying, what your dad is telling me, how much am I really absorbing it? How much am I saying, yeah, okay, and I look back now and it's like, I've absorbed so much. My memory is shot, but I remember these things because they were very, very pivotal, and the things that they were telling me were that important. So I guess, what they said was true.
So there's one other person that could be very responsible for your success.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you talk about how and where you met your wife?
Oh, my girl B. So, I met her through a mutual friend. I remember she tells a story like I was at the club hanging with one of my exes and a couple of my boys out there. We went to this place in Manhattan called Kiss and Fly. It was a super dope club. It was like, you go in, music loud. It was cool. So I remember I was at the club. I kind of met her in passing, whatever. I didn't really notice her. And she remembers, what she's told me later was like, yeah, my friend introduced us. And like I was standing like this, leaning up against a wall. And like the girl that I was dating at the time, she was on the speaker dancing. And she was going crazy. And I looked miserable. And that's what she would tell me. And then a couple of months later, one of our mutual friends, Chris, his name is, he was like, I don't know how but he kind of like mentioned her, and like, I'm like, oh yeah, all right, dope. Let me look Facebook, because Facebook was big, and Facebook was for like, the young people back then. And so like I was on it, I was looking, I was stalking a little bit. So I sent her a DM, bro. Do you know what I said to her?
What did you say?
Oh my God, it was so bad. I said, what did I say? Hey, I said, I just met you. Call me maybe, or some dumb shit. What am I thinking? Something really, really, really bad.
Hey, it worked.
Yeah, I guess so. She's like, I don't know why was it my eyes that did it for you? What the hell was it? But our first date was outside of Bay Ridge School. I had to ask Nisa, I'm like, yo, can I leave a little bit early? All right, so I couldn't leave early that day. I'm like, I ran downstairs. I was supposed to meet you at 10 o'clock, Britt. I got to go clean real quick. I'll be down in like 20 minutes. So our first date, I was late. She was waiting for us, right? But we hit it off right away. And I mean, I have stories on stories with Brittany, but like that, I agree with you. I'm unorganized. I'm all over the place. I'm I am very much so like on this side, and she's like on this side of thinking. She's so organized. She's like one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. You know, she's so sharp. I can't get a damn thing past her. I don't even try to lie because I suck at it, and she's gonna know that I'm bullshitting right now. You lying.
Well, that's good.
I know it's good. So I don't even do it, but she's helped keep me on track. She just was able to help me navigate where I wanted to go, the next steps in life. And she and I, we just bought a house in New Jersey, and you know, we are living our lives like happy, fulfilled. We have goals in the future, of course, but like, you know, sometimes people will see like, you know, me driving a BMW and stuff and like forget when we first started dating. I didn't tell you guys this story, but in the beginning, we were only dating maybe a couple of months, and then Hurricane Sandy hit. Remember Hurricane Sandy? That was the first big hurricane, right? Of course. And I remember that night I got into a big fight with my mom. I said, "Oh yeah, I don't give a..." Boom, left the house. Now, where do I go? I go in front of Brittany's house. I sleep in my Honda Civic across the street from her house, right? Now, I'm like, I'm gonna die right now. One of these trees is gonna fall on me because it's Hurricane Sandy and I'm an idiot and I'm in my Civic SI parked in the damn street. So I hit her up at like 6 a.m. and I didn't call her, I texted her, I sent her a text, and I was like in my back seat like this. I'm like, oh God, I hope I get the response I want to get, like, come in, you idiot. So I texted her, and after I texted her something like, you know, hey, you know, I'm just outside your house right now. I'm just in my car, don't worry about it, I'll be there. I wound up going in her house, meeting her father and her mother for the first time. Both of her parents wound up like really liking me in the beginning, like from that first time. Mm-hmm. And they were like, look, you can stay here. I went and I wound up, Brittany and I stayed at their house. I wound up living there for the next 5 months in a twin size bed with Britt.
How could they not like you?
So
wait a minute, you slept in your car through Hurricane Sandy?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
That's the craziest thing you ever heard, right? So that in itself is just, it's absurd.
Okay. So now you're saying to yourself, I want to own a school. I want to run my own school. Mm-hmm. I've done this long enough. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to be really good at this. Quickly, how does that happen? Yeah,
that was always the plan. It was just basically like, I have always wanted a school, didn't know how I was going to get it. You know, I didn't have any money, didn't come from money, and I didn't know how the hell I was going to get there, but put my head down, worked hard, and I had a few senseis that were willing to sponsor me and, you know, put up the money for me. Okay, then I pay them back through the school, whatever, yada, yada. I get my school. But, well, let's back up for a second. Before I even was able to get to that point, there was an opportunity that Neeson put it out there. That's right. Neeson told Shion, he's like, Pace ready for a school now. All right, so they started looking, and then I was like, yo, there's a spot in Staten Island. Can we check it out? It was on the corner. It's where I am now. And we went and looked at it. Neeson came. We looked at it together, and then I didn't know how I was going to get the money. Originally, I was going to go in partners with somebody, and then I wound up calling them up and being like, listen, I'm good. I got the funds for it, so I'm just going to go 100%. All right. And then the rest is history. And then I just owned the school from there. You know how scared I was? So you've never been to my school? Well,
I'm going to make a trip.
Have you?
No.
Come on, Rick.
I'd like to. I never got invited.
All right. Well, I'm going to invite you. You're going to come, hopefully this time you're here. But so when you go into my school, it's on the second floor in the corner, right? It's you could see it great, but like to get to it is difficult. So you got to go through glass doors, make a right, go up a staircase. You got to go out another set of glass doors, bust a left, go all the way down. There's Tiger Schulmann. Like that. I'm nervous. I'm like, people aren't going to know how to get here. They're not going to know where the hell they're going. Like, I didn't know where I was going, you know, and like the first, I don't know, 10, 15 people that came through my door at the school didn't sign up. So I called her dad up. I'm like, I'm gonna go jump off a bridge for a second. And he's like, why? I'm like, nah, people don't like me. They don't like the school. I don't know what I'm gonna do. He had to talk me off the ledge a little bit. And then after that, someone signed up and it kind of like built my confidence. And you know, I was calling him like literally every night. I was on the phone with your dad, just like telling him about the day, what happened. We had a camera in the school and he would watch my class. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are people dying on the mat? People were dying on the mat, they're sweating hard. The reason why is because Bay Ridge, before that in Neeson school, homeboy would throw the heat up. All right, it's summer, it's 82. Why does he put it on 82 and we're training? I would do that then in my school. People are sweating, Shion. This is what I did in Neeson school. I'm not a rat, but I wound up diming him out. And then Shion, after he got off the phone with me, he hit Neeson up, was like, yo, don't do that no more. But then, you know, I started getting more and more people coming into the school and like falling in love with it.
Now you got 400 students. You send more people to the COC than anybody.
Yeah, we got 93 people. 93 people going this time.
It's hard to run a school of 400 students. That takes a lot of organization. So is that something that
Huge.
Brittany helps you with?
Like, tremendously. I would not, when I say like your dad, I wouldn't be here where I am today. Like, people use that term too loosely, I think, but like, I wouldn't be where I am with my school without her. And, you know, she's modest. She'd be like, no, but she knows it. She knows it too. Like, she was able to help organize all of my thoughts. See, I have these thoughts. We're in a podcast. We're going for a long time because I just be talking, right? And like, she's able to navigate my thoughts and put it into one sentence. Like, she was able to say, okay, look, we're not doing this anymore. We're not going to do that for marketing. We're going to do this. And she was able to help me like with the numbers and stuff. Again, I dropped out of high school, didn't go to college, right? So off the bat, I'm like, all right, I'm not smart. And although I am, right? And that's what I would tell myself. And she would be able to kind of help me just manage, managerial wise, you know, organize, you know, help me organize. But in the beginning, she really would just help me on, you know, behind the scenes. You know, now she is a tremendous part of the school, even more so. But, you know, it was just me and my manager back in the day. And so she's helped me to kind of realize, okay, this person is taking advantage of you because I'll be too nice to people and they'll take advantage of me. Or like, you know, I don't think this is right for you. Like this person has got to go. Like, you got to get rid of this person. Or, you know, she would motivate me to do a demo where maybe I wouldn't want to do a demonstration out of school, or I would do like this health fair. And, you know, she went to FIT, graduate, like, you know, it's like, so she knows her stuff. She knows her stuff. She's the yin to my yang, you know.
Because you got all the passion and the technique and the, you know, you're a big personality. Your students love you.
Yeah, yeah.
So one without the other is not
it balances. I'm a big people person. She's not so much so, but she has turned into more. I've kind of helped her to become more of a people person. Yeah, exactly. Totally different sides of the spectrum, but like we mesh well, and you know, it just works. Now she's the best thing in my life.
That's great. Mm-hmm. The last person is the guy that is the first ever black belt at Tottenville, Tiger Schulmann's.
The better looking one.
It sounds like you are beyond thrilled to be able to let your dad know how good your brother's doing.
Oh yeah.
And it sounds like your brother really got you through some tough times.
Yeah.
And talked about you so highly, about how you're just such a selfless, giving person. Kind of like the way you were talking about Nissim.
Yeah.
Now people are talking about you that way.
Right.
And he also told you in a very difficult time, you're Nick Pace. You're going to be fine. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
How important is it to have your brother in the school with you?
I'm, thinking about that, thinking about like my brother. Like I don't really have any friends, and so like having Ricky there, especially at that time, like when COVID first hit, like I was scared, and I was getting down on myself, and like now, like to the point where like if I have a bad day and I go into my school, like nobody knows it. I don't show nobody about, like they just think like I'm good. But it was like affecting me. People were starting to realize like I don't feel, I seem like I'm down and sad and nervous. I seem that way. And so he was able to help give me the confidence to be like, you could do anything, bro. Like you're the Nick Pace. When people say that, I'm like, okay, I'm not the Nick Pace. I ain't shit really. But like when he says that, like in the way that he said it, it made me feel really good. Like I want to try to be like the best like leader for him and for just like my family. And he was able to be that for me without even trying. And so like he's like my one friend really. Like I don't do anything, it's kind of lame, but like that's the only kid that I will like really talk to, hang out with. And at the time, you see how young he is there, like he was able to kind of get me through that tough situation between him and my wife. By the way, they're both born on the same day. They're both born on December 2nd. And so,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, crazy, right? They got similar personalities. And so it's like I have, Ricky, who is able to just tell me straight and kind of, I only want my family to just, I'm a very demonstrative dude. I'm very emotional, very like, very warm, I guess. And like, I just want I talked about you guys before, like your families, like I want my family to be even more so like that. And I just want my brother, my sisters, I want them to want my help. I want them to just like think that I'm the best. I want them to think that, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I basically...
We need Brittany here to get you to stop.
That's exactly what we need. I'm like I'm trying not to get choked up, and then my ADD kicks in, and I'm trying not to think about that as I'm thinking about your question.
So now you're running a school, and now you get to give those same lessons that you learned to kids and adults, and to inspire them in their life to be better.
Yeah.
You said a little while ago on the podcast that you wouldn't trade being the UFC champion for where you are today.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, when like being the UFC champion is all about being selfish, like I want it all for myself. The fact that I'm able to be the guy that has this platform of a school to be able to reach, I have however many students I have, 400 something students I have in my school, like that, and being able to change people's lives every single day, doing what I love with the people that I love the most, that is the most gratifying. It's the best thing in the world. And, there were many times where I felt like, I don't know if this is going to work out for me. Like I was saying, I didn't know if people are going to come up and notice, but like build it and they will come type of deal, and just put your head down, love what you're doing, and then people will notice it. Well, my school's motto, our saying is like, we want to make every person in our community the most confident versions of themselves. So for me, the way that I feel good is by making other people realize how amazing they are. Every single person has something beautiful about them, something positive about them, and something that they do really well. And like getting them to realize that is validating to me. And I think what I was trying to say about my brother and my sisters before is like, I get happy. I get excited when they will call me up and be like, Nick, my car broke down. Like, can you come help me? Like, I want them to want my help. I want to just like help them. I want to be there for them. And so I get to do that with 400 something students. I get to be there for them as well. And I know how much I have been, guided by your dad, by Schulmann, by Ron, by my sensei, by Nissim, by so many people in this unbelievable, by Rick, by so many unbelievable people in the organization. Because you sponsored me, you give me stuff on the side from Thai Gear, you hook me up. That it's a rewarding feeling that I want to be able to just give back. I want to be that for somebody else, and being the UFC champ would be amazing. I'll be a household name, but I'd rather be in the houses that actually know who I am and love me than to be in, all of the houses because they love how I fight,
That was
Hey,
beautiful.
I got 'em.
That was
You're a
awesome.
household name in our houses.
Dang, all right, cool, man.
Okay.
What are we doing for Thanksgiving?
All right.
Without further delay, Danielle.
So now we're gonna do like a little fun
All right.
thing. We could
Let's
talk
do
about
it. No jump
your
scares.
team members. Okay, so that means like Jim, you're the people that you fight with, people that you train with, and the people that coach you. Mm-hmm. We'll do some speed questions, and I
right.
want you to give me the answer that first comes to your head,
Deal.
and then we can maybe go into a little bit of why. All right, so let's go. You get jumped in the favela of Brazil by 10 guys. Thank God
Nissim
Blank
was
is
here.
with me.
Nissim's my man. Nissim once said that if he got into a fight with someone, he would bite someone's nose off.
Okay, that's
He's
it.
gonna be there with me. I know that's real.
Who is the first to text you happy birthday?
First to text me happy birthday is Jimmy.
Who sends you the most heartful birthday wish?
The most
Heartfelt.
heartfelt birthday wish. Dale Julio. That's my man Julio, I'd say.
Not allowed on the aux during training.
Can I use two people? Mm-hmm. Does that mean the same person? I won't say Jimmy because it's Jimmy, but I'll say someone else.
No, say the truth.
Yeah.
We gotta be straight.
He got the same playlist from Pandora from 2013. We gotta switch his whole thing up, bruh. Come on.
Most likely to get an embarrassing tattoo.
Most likely to get an embarrassing tattoo, I would have to say is, would be probably Danny. Danny will get something stupid for the gram.
You're in an eating contest. The prize is $500,000. Who do you choose as your partner?
It's gotta be Lewis. Yeah.
He's gonna eat a lot.
That boy, I know he's like 5'1", he eat. You could put down some food for sure.
Who do you want with you stranded on a desert island?
We're gonna go with I want Lyman with me on a stranded desert island. You know why?
Why?
Because he's big, he's strong, he probably knows how to kill stuff, probably can make a canoe or something, I don't know. Also, if he's hungry, my ass dead, right? I probably won't even feel it. He knows me, he probably would kill me quick, and then it wouldn't be that bad, so. Oh, I didn't know who I was able to. If I'm on death row, who do you trust?
To choose your last meal.
I think I will go with Ricky. Ricky Pace would know what I want.
He knows the food.
He knows.
He's a foodie too.
Yeah, he's a foodie too.
Who would you swap lives with for a day?
Danny Schulmann.
Why?
His warmth and his family, everything is cool. I just want to see like a day in his shoes, being a dad, being, like any one of his nieces or nephews can call him up at any given time, and it's like they're just gonna hang out. It's just gonna be cool. Like that's what I would do.
Cool.
I had to stop myself from like tearing up a couple of times throughout this podcast. That's why I keep like pausing for a second, but that's all right. You guys bring out the best in me. That's okay. It's good.
All right, that's all of my questions.
You got no more questions?
I got no more questions.
We do this show because we want to bring out the human side of you amazing athletes and warriors, because it's such a hard thing to do, what you did.
Yeah.
And we want people to see who you really are. And I think everyone really saw who you really are.
Yeah, I hope so. I didn't want to give the wrong impression. I told myself I'm just gonna be like, I want to try to be just like, be myself, be authentic. I'm just talking, we're just chatting.
No, you're amazing. And I was around years ago when you were struggling, and I really believe your success is not an accident, and your brother couldn't have said it better, that you'll always be okay because you're Nick Pace.
Yeah.
And we love you, and
I love you
Danielle's
guys
whole
too,
family
man.
loves you, and they feel just the way you do about them. And you are amazing.
Ah, man, thank you
wanna
for
give you a
having me.
hug.
I want to give you a hug, bro. I love you, man. Love boy. Rick.